You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile has come to the defense of the Marcos family over the estate tax controversy. He says the issue is purely political. Enrile, who served as Marcos's defense minister, also said the government cannot pass on the liabilities to the late dictator's son and namesake presidential candidate, Bongbong Marcos. Now let's go straight to the source of the story. We have former BIR Assistant Commissioner Edwin Abella. Mr. Abella, welcome to the source. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Yeah, thank you, Pinky.
Okay, diretsuhin ko na po yung tanong. May utang ho ba ang pamilya Marcos na 203 billion pesos in estate taxes?
Yeah, it seems that that is the figure right now. But initially, the assessment for estate taxes is only 23 billion, to my recollection. And there are also other taxes assessed from them, like income tax against the spouses, and the income tax, deficiency income tax also against Bongbong Marcos.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. I think you're talking about the 1997 ruling, wherein they talked about the estate tax and the income tax also of the former First Lady and Bongbong Marcos. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah, that's why that it sums up to more than 200 billion.
So
this assessment.
So that still leads me to my first question. Does the Marcos family owe the government 203 billion pesos in estate taxes?
Well, I am not sure about the adjustments made by them. But as I was saying, the initial assessment made against them is only 23 billion. It might have increased due to civil increments like the 20% interest on interest under the section of the National Internal Revenue Code, imposing additional civil liabilities for non-payment.
But would you agree, Mr. Abella, about the 23 billion pesos obligation in estate taxes by the Marcos family as decided upon, rather confirmed by the Supreme Court in 1997 from a decision made by the Court of Appeals, I believe, in 1994?
Yeah. That is a decision by the Supreme Court, so the liability is already there.
At kailangan mo bang bayaran yon? Because there are so many other different interpretations here. Yeah. Meron pong sinasabi na it's still under litigation. Even a former Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile saying na meron pang mga nililitis na mga kaso. Ano ho ba ang inyong pananaw dito? Meron pa bang nililitis na kaso? Or as the Supreme Court said, this is final and executory and unappealable?
Yung mga nililitis na kaso, Pinky, has nothing to do with the estate tax liability. It's more about the propriety of the enforcement made by the BIR. So insofar as the tax liability is concerned, it is already there. But some sectors are trying to enforce it against the family, against the heirs, which is not right insofar as estate tax is concerned, because the estate is the one primarily liable for the payment of taxes, because that is a tax on the transmission of these properties to the lawful heirs. So the heirs cannot be made liable thereon unless it is proven that, well, a property passed on to them, meaning to say that the liability of the heirs cannot exceed the inheritance that you get from the estate.
Okay. So ang sinasabi niyo po, ang liable dito ay yung estate. Tama ho ba?
Yes, because it has a separate personality apart from the executor, administrator, or any one of the heirs for that matter.
So let's clarify this. You agree that there's a 23 billion estate tax liability, but you're saying that hindi po ito responsibilidad ng mga Marcos na bayaran. Tama po ba?
Yeah, that is the responsibility of the state. That's why the BIR should have gone after the properties that were listed in their computations. So these properties are properly identified. I do not know why up to now they are not able to get these properties or even sell them at public auction, to satisfy the tax liabilities.
I think there was some sort of a public auction I read somewhere, but there were no bidders.
Yeah, but but the procedures are not stopped there, Pinky. The next
Opo.
remedy should be forfeiture. They should forfeit all these properties in the name of the Republic of the Philippines in payment of these taxes.
Kunin na.
Yeah, yeah.
Kunin na at ibalik sa gobyerno. That's what you're saying, sir.
Yes, yes. That's why
Eh,
in the event that
So the
Yeah.
23 billion, basically you're saying, the government can actually collect this money via selling of the properties. Let's say the 11 parcels of land supposed to be listed in Tacloban. Pwede pong ibenta na
Tacloban,
yun para mabayaran tong 23 billion.
yeah.
Ano po yung personality ng a co-administrator or executor? You were saying a while ago that that is completely separate because hindi ho ba yung co-administrator dito is the former First Lady Imelda Marcos and former Senator Bongbong Marcos. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, they are there only to oversee the settlement of the state. If they wanted to pay voluntarily, if for instance there is a cash available as one of the properties of the state, they can do so. But if they do not deliver those funds of the state, then the remedy there is to enforce by a summary remedies, and this is the warrant of distraint and levy, warrant of distraint or warrant of levy against real properties.
Warrant of what, sir? And warrant of levy?
Warrant of distraint directed against personal properties like shares of stocks, bank accounts, etc. And the warrant of levy directed against their real properties.
The real property. Okay, sir, we just need to take a very short break. The source will be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, former BIR, part of the BIR, Edwin Abella. Sorry, it's not commissioner. You worked for the BIR as assistant commissioner, no, sir? When did you leave the
Yes.
BIR?
I left the BIR in 2012, and
So
I'm now in
let's-
private practice.
Opo.
Yeah.
Mr. Abella, let's talk about that. Dahil nandun po kayo sa BIR for how long?
I was there for 31 years. 31 long years.
That's a long time. Okay,
Yeah.
so from the time that there was a Court of Appeals decision in 1994 and then affirmed by the Supreme Court in 1997, it seems that a lot of the questions are really being passed on to the BIR. Why has not the BIR collected on this? You were there for 31 years. Could you explain that to
Yes.
us?
Yeah. Well, that's the responsibility of the collection enforcement people of the BIR. Because, in the collection of these taxes, deficiency taxes, they have only 5 years to collect. And that is clear under the law. If an assessment is made, the assessment must be collected within 5 years from the date the assessment was made. And obviously, it seems that the assessments were made as early as 1991. Okay? And it took them several... in fairness naman, they tried to collect it also sometime in 1993, I should say. 1993. But the effort to collect the issuance of levy was directed only against certain properties. And I'm afraid that if there are other properties not covered by the warrants issued by the BIR, well, the right to collect might have already prescribed.
So there is such a thing you're saying as a prescription period here of 5 years.
Yes. That's clear
So
under the law.
technically,
Yeah.
so if that is the argument, technically, paso na po itong 23 billion pesos.
Yeah, but not on the collection cases that were started on time. As a matter of fact, the jurisprudence would tell us that once the collection procedure had been commence on time, it can be allowed to continue until its final termination. So maybe
And
the
when would that
only
have been?
what I'm saying is the only properties that they can levy upon now are those that are covered by the warrants issued sometime in 1993, but not to issue another warrant now to collect the other tax liabilities.
All right. Unfortunately, sir, we've run out of time. I wish we'll be able to speak to you again to be
Yeah.
able to have your sense and understand better the arguments of this case. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you, former BIR Assistant Commissioner Edwin Abella. Maraming salamat po, sir. And
Maraming
thank you for
salamat din po.
joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.